Hi guys and welcome back to the Triathlon channel. I am Summer, Jason's daughter, and today I'm going to be interviewing him. I have put together some questions about triathlon that I'm going to be asking Daddy. However, Daddy does not know about these questions. Let's begin. Question 1. What made you start triathlon and this channel?
So I started triathlon because I wanted to do an Ironman, so it was a bucket list for me, and that was supposed to be my one and only, and 3 years later I'm still doing them. I started this channel because I wanted to help beginner people in triathlon to either get into the sport or help those that are already in the sport to stay in the sport and grow within it.
Okay. Question 2. What triathlons would you recommend for beginners in England?
Depends what distance. So what distance?
70.3.
70.3. I would recommend an Ironman only because they are the cheaper, they're not the cheapest, they're the most expensive, but they have closed roads. And I think for a lot of people that would be a big pro for them. However, if you're looking for a cheaper one, the UK Triathlon ones, the one that I'm doing in 6 weeks' time, would probably be a good one because it's cheap and the roads are quiet, but they're not closed.
Okay. Question 3. Is a triathlon bike or a road bike better for triathlon?
Again, it depends what you're wanting to do. So I've done both, and I've done a video on comparing the two, and actually I've had my best times on a road bike. However, I haven't raced on my triathlon bike without being injured yet. So it'll be interesting to see in 6 weeks how I do.
Okay. Question 4. One of your videos was my favourite strength and stretching exercises. Have these helped you come a long way with triathlon?
So far this season they have, because I've yet to be injured, touch wood, and I think it's down to doing a lot more stretching and a lot more strength work.
Okay, thank you. Question 5. If you could pick 3 sponsors, what would they be?
Canyon for the bikes, Huxon, because everything I own is Huxon, just like that, and it's hard, I would probably go with On running shoes.
Good sponsors. Question 6. How much food should you bring on a 2 to 4 hour cycle?
Depends what pace you're going at and what your body needs. So everyone's different. I tend to find that around 80 grams of carbs seem to be enough for me. However, as I learned last weekend when it was windy and cold, it took a lot more out of me, so that wasn't enough. So it's about learning what's right for you, what agrees with you. So whether it's gels or solid food. So I prefer solid food, but I can't carry as much. So if I do, I'll have energy bars, but I'll also have gels. I'll combine the two, but I would prefer to have a sandwich if I'm honest, but I would prefer to have solid foods over gels because I find they give me less stomach issues as well.
So does it also depend on the weather? Like if it's windy,
Definitely.
You've got to use more power especially if you're against the wind.
Yeah, and fluids as well, because if it's hot, you'll be sweating more.
Yeah, thank you. Question 7. What is the average price to spend on a coach?
I think it varies anywhere between, I've seen the cheapest at £60 a month, and I've seen them go right up to 300. Never looked any further, but I think on average, you're looking at around anywhere between 100 and 150.
Okay.
Cheaper isn't always better, I've learned, but then likewise, you don't need the most expensive one either.
Okay, yeah. Question 8. Is Zwift best for cycling and running?
I think so, yes. There are other ones like Trainer Road, or you can use like Tax. They've got their own mats. There's loads of different ones. I prefer Swift because of all the challenges. I don't know if it's necessarily better for running. I don't think it is, but it's certainly, if you are on the treadmill, it's something to look at, just like you are on the turbo. So I don't use it as much on the running side. I use it occasionally, but for biking, I think it's the best app.
Okay. Question 9. How often do you take a rest day? What would you recommend?
So I don't take rest days. I have active recovery days. So I have less to do. So like today was one of them, and I just did a 50-minute easy run. So zone 1 and 2, no higher than zone 2. And that was my rest day. But then if I really need a rest day, if my body's telling me to, I'll take one.
So would you recommend active recovery?
I think you've got to know your own body. So you'll know when you need to rest. I've taken rest days before, but I tend to find my body copes better with active recovery, just an easy day, and it gets my legs better for the next session.
Yeah. Question 10. Who is your triathlon idol?
Lionel.
And why?
Because I think he is really inspiring, and he shows that if you work really hard, you don't have to be the most talented, but you can get to the top level. So he is someone, I would say, in my opinion, he hasn't got natural talent. He obviously has a huge amount of talent, but it doesn't come as easy to him as it does others. He works really hard to get to where he is. And over the last couple of years, but more so this year, he's really upped the game. I can't wait to see him in Kona this year, because I think he's really going to make a huge impact.
Final question. When are you going to buy me a road bike?
When you win a triathlon. So you've got one in the end of the month. Yeah. If you win it, I'll buy you a road bike.
Ooh, okay.
Now I've got one question for you.
Okay.
Why did you get into triathlon?
I got into triathlon because, well, you doing triathlon inspired me, and then a week before my first triathlon in Staffordshire, we were watching Daddy, and we went over to see Lucy Charles, and she actually gave me her winning medal, so that really inspired me, and I pushed myself in the triathlon. So that is it from us today. Thank you very much for watching. I'd hope to see you again. Bye!
Bye!
Bye bye.